Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and guys. This is your host, Konstantin. Uh, Today, I'd like to talk about how to solve problems causing stress, right? No stress, you don't binge. It's less probable you eat junk food, less insomnia, and so on. The less stress you feel, easier to build muscle, easier to preserve your perfect physique, and so on. Also, live longer. Okay, now in the previous video I talked about um, how to temporarily reduce stress. Okay, but for example, deep breathing, drinking water, um, power naps, etc. But if you don't solve the root cause of the stress, then you feel stress again, right? So today I'd like to talk about solving the root cause of the problem, right? Everyone has a different problem, so I cannot create a video about every problem in the world, but I can give you my template for solving problems, which is applicable to any problem, okay? And today I will talk about my template, uh, how to apply it in any situation, and I also plan to create a few videos about main topics such as exams, work, and relationships. Okay, talk to, let's talk about solving problems in general. Okay, first of all, is the situation beyond your control? Okay, for example, you missed the train, right? You can't do anything about it. Don't dwell on the past, okay? Or uh, you don't like the fact that you have to study mathematics for. You don't like the fact that you have to study mathematics if you want to apply to a certain university, okay? You can't change this. Some things you just cannot change. Accept it and move forward. Stop worrying about it. Another point. Reflect on what you're thankful for. Shift focus from worries to blessings, okay? For example, you missed the train to work. Okay, but at least you have a job. Some people don't. Or you have to study mathematics for a certain exam. Well, at least you have the money to go to this university, okay? Some people don't even have the money. Or they're in a country torn by war. They don't even have the time to think about universities. Okay, third step. Consider the likelihood of your fears coming true. Most worries never materialize. For example, Um, you missed the train. Now you will be late for work. Okay. So your first thought shouldn't be, I'll be fired, right? You're over exaggerating the situation. Most probably you will not be fired, right? Or you have to study mathematics for a certain to apply to a certain university. You're not good at mathematics, not good at all. In fact, let's say you're very bad and you think you'll get 0 points. Okay, let's say that you have a mark sheet, right? You have to choose the answer. Well, let's say you have A, B, C, D. But if you choose only A, you can certainly get about 25% of the. You probably get about 25% of the points. So you definitely not get 0 even if you don't study at all. Okay? Another example. If I don't pass the exam, it's the end of the world. Not at all, right? Trust me. Uh, you'll definitely be fine. Now, they're certainly not happy if you don't pass your exam, but most people don't pass the exam, right? But we still keep on living. Okay, next. Let go of minor annoyances to preserve mental energy for bigger issues. Let's say you missed the train, okay? And now you're late for work. Okay. So you were supposed to get to your workplace at 9 o'clock, but now you'll be there at 9:30 and you have a meeting at 10 o'clock. Okay? So what do? Curse the train, or while waiting for the next train, you think how to do a better. You think how to perform better in the meeting. Okay? Forget about the stupid train. Think about what's important, right? Your meeting. Or let's say you want to get into a certain university and you have to study mathematics, and you're so annoyed, you think about it all the time, and just stop it. Okay? Mathematics is certainly not the only exam you have to study about. Probably many exams. And I bet you need to write an essay and do all kinds of other stuff. So look at the big picture, okay? Next, forgive others to free yourself from the burden of grudges that fuel worry. Okay? Let's say you missed the train and you start cursing yourself that you didn't get out of your home earlier. Okay? You're just losing your time. Stop it. Instead, think about your meeting or something important that you will do today. Or you'll have to study about this maths exam. And you're You start cursing the professors of this university that decided you have to take a math exam. Not a good idea, okay? You're just losing your time. Just get over it. Okay, next point. Turn worries into opportunities. Reframe challenges as chances to grow or learn. Okay. Let's say you missed the train. Well, now usually you prepare for a meeting in your office, but now you can prepare in the train. Okay, it's just another opportunity to prepare in another environment and challenge yourself, grow as a person. Let's say you have to study for this maths exam, and you're worried that you will not get very high points. Well, this certainly may be true, and you don't like maths, but it will be certainly helpful one day in university or when you start work and so on. So every time you think, okay, I hate this exam, instead think it's an opportunity to grow. Okay, it's an opportunity to learn, and by thinking this way, actually you will get higher points because positive mindset leads to better performance. And in the end, the important thing is if you pass or you don't pass, right? Okay, let's go to the next point. So, I want to talk about the PDCA circle. What is this circle? Okay. If you're not familiar with it, P stands for plan, D stands for do, C stands for check, and A stands for act. So how do you use it to solve problems? Okay. Now you have a problem. So first, what do you do? You plan. First is the plan phase. Okay, let's say we have some kind of problem. What are the causes of the problem? Okay. For example, you need to pass the maths exam to get into a certain university. Okay. But why are you worried about this? Okay. Maybe you're weak in geometry or whatever. What is the cause of the worry? Okay. Or you missed the train, but now you're worried you can't get to work in time, right? But why are you worried about this, okay? If you're worried you'll be fired, if you just called your boss, it will be okay. Now, if you don't call him, it will be bad, right? And if you're worried that you will not be able to prepare for your meeting, well, the solution is just to prepare in the train or at the station, right? So you think about what is the cause of my worry and what is the solution. um, you also think, what is the worst that can happen? As I said, if you miss the train, worst that can happen, maybe you will be fired, right? But it's obviously not going to happen. So, what is the worst that can happen? Well, you're not used to working in the train, so you will perform at the meeting a little bit worse than usually, okay? This is the worst that can happen, okay? So what do you do then? And so on. uh, so plan phase, let me just summarize. Why are you worried? What can I do to solve my problem? Um, so you create a plan to solve your problem. In the do phase, you act on this plan. Okay. In the check phase, after you have finished the plan, uh, you check if it is working or not. Or maybe not after you finish the plan, but in the middle of it, you check if it is working or not, okay? And in the act phase, you, well, if the plan is working, right, you don't change anything, but if it's not working, you decide what to change in the plan, okay? And then the plan phase again, okay? You decide that you have to change something, so you make another plan that reflects what you need to change. And then the do phase again, you act on the new solution plan, and so on, okay? That's generally how you do it. I will give you examples in the next videos, okay? Now, something that's very important, okay? You must set limits on how much you will do on the plan, do and just phase, okay? So, for example, you want to pass certain, you want to get into a certain university, okay? And all you do is investigate how to do it. What is the best plan, right? You have 3 years, but you spend most of the day investigating how to do it, right? You're obsessed with the plan, but that's very bad because you not have enough time to perform on the plan, to act on the plan, okay? Or you decide what you need to do in one day and then act on the plan. And then 2 years or pass and you realize that your plan was wrong, right? So you should take enough time to decide on the plan and enough time to act on it, also enough time to do it, to perform it, right? You need enough time for each phase. um, Another point, very important: focus 100% on each phase and avoid worrying about the previous or next phase. So, for example, in the plan phase, you decided on the plan, okay, and you start acting on it in the do phase. But you're worried all the time if the plan is correct. That's not good, okay? Concentrate on the do phase. Or you even in the do phase, you start worrying if you're going to pass the exam, right? That's not a good idea. Just concentrate on the do phase. Is it going well or not well? This is something you should check in the check phase, okay? Not in the do phase. So stop thinking about the past or the future. Concentrate on the present, okay? And not the 10th point is cultivate a positive mental attitude, okay? Don't think, well, I don't know, maybe I will fail. No, instead think, I'm certainly moving in the right direction. I'll probably pass. Because a positive mindset leads to better outcome and reduces stress. And negative mindset, well, it leads to worse outcomes and stress. So just be positive about everything, okay? Last point that I want to make. Maybe some of you have heard about the Eisenhower matrix. It has a grandiose name, but it's something very simple and useful. Eisenhower, this is an Eisenhower was an American president, who said something like, "What's important is not urgent, and what's urgent is not important," right? Something of this sort, but I don't remember correctly. Okay, so let's talk how to use this matrix. So why is this useful? Let's say you want to, well, every problem, right, is very complex, right? It consists of many problems, and especially when you get a job, you have to do many things. And if you don't know the correct order, well, you will get worse outcomes. So it's important to know the correct order. Right? You first do this and next do this. You don't do just anything you like. Uh, so actually, you can categorize any problem into four different categories depending on the importance of the problem and the urgency of the problem. Okay, so if your problem is in, let's say something you have to do immediately, like fire. Okay, it's urgent, right? And it's important to extinguish it right now. So it's both urgent and important. Okay. um, but let's say something is urgent. uh, for example, someone from someone just arrived to give you your mail. Okay, and you're busy doing something important. Okay, it's urgent, you need to go, but maybe your work is more important, so you can delegate it to someone else. You can ask your mother or brother or whatever, uh, sister, and so on. So that's not something you should do right now. If there is something urgent and important, that should be done first. Also, there are problems that are important but not urgent. They have to be done, um, but you don't need to do them immediately. For example, you need to um, um, you need to go on a date with your girlfriend or boyfriend. Okay, you definitely need to do this, right? But you don't need to do it immediately, right? Or you have to go to the dentist once a month or once every 3 months for a checkup, right? That's very important, obviously, but you don't need to do it right now. Okay, such problems are important but not urgent. All you need to do is schedule them. Okay, and finally, there are problems that are uh, you can also call them tasks. So there are tasks that are not important and not urgent, neither important nor urgent. Like playing poker. Okay, for example, if you're not a professional poker player and you you don't get you don't earn money by playing poker. Okay, it's not important. It's not important. Well, it's fun, but it's not important, and it's not urgent either, right? It's the same for movies and listening to music. But if you're Steven Spielberg, that's another thing. But for most people, movies, right? Watching movies is not important and it's not urgent. Okay, so this is all I wanted to talk about today. Um, this is only a general template, but I believe almost any problem can be solved using this template. So in the next few videos I will talk about concrete examples. Yeah, that's it for now. If you like the video, please subscribe, like or dislike, you know. If any of this helped, um, please write a comment. I will be happy to read it, and I hope you have a nice evening or a great day. Bye bye everyone.